Hello everyone, I'm going to read you one of my favourite stories. Can you guess what it is? I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs. He was a wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs and 1 eye. He was a winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelt really, really bad. That morning he'd got up early and hadn't had any coffee, and he was always getting into mischief. He was a hanky-panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey.
Uh-oh, a river, a deep, cold river. We can't go over it, we can't go under it. Oh no! We've got to go through it!
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And the mirror would sigh and wonder why nobody ever asked questions like, what is the meaning of life? And she would say, you are the fairest of them all. This made the Queen very happy. Ah, ah, ah.
George sat himself down at the table in the kitchen. He was shaking a little. Oh, how he hated Grandma. He really hated that horrid old witchy woman. And all of a sudden, he had a tremendous urge to do something about her. Something whopping, something absolutely terrific. A real shocker, a sort of explosion.
Little pig, let me come in, he growled. No, by the hairs on my chinny chin chin, I won't let you in, squeaked the first little pig. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down, roared the wolf. And he did. That was the end of the first little pig. Next, the wolf crept to the house of sticks. Little pig, let me come in, he growled. No, by the hairs on my chinny chin chin, I won't let you in, squeaked the second little pig. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down, roared the wolf. And he did. That was the end of the second little pig.
The rhyming rabbit was sitting with his family in a grassy field. All the other rabbits were eating the grass, but the rhyming rabbit was making up a poem about it. Grass is growing all around. It makes a lovely swishing sound. It looks so green, it smells so sweet, and best of all, it's good to eat. Stop rhyming, start eating, said the other rabbits. It was beginning to get dark when one of the rabbits pricked up his ears and stamped his foot. Fox, he shouted. Straight away, all the rabbits ran to their burrow, all except for the rhyming rabbit, who closed his eyes and made up a poem about the fox. O fearful fox, all rusty red, you fill our rabbit hearts with dread. So silently you crouch and sniff until you catch our rabbit whiff. So hungrily, you cunning beast, you stalk your tasty rabbit feast. You're sly and crafty through and through, but we can run as fast as you. Don't rhyme, run!
Hello everybody, my name's Cheesy Whatsit. What's yours? I thought I'd read you a couple of pages from my favourite book called There's a Dragon in Your Book. There's a dragon in your book. Oh look, there's an egg in your book. It looks ready to hatch. Whatever you do, don't turn the page. I can't believe you did that. The egg has hatched and now there's a dragon in your book.
Once upon a farm lived a fat red hen, a duck in a pond and a goose in a pen. a woolly sheep and a hairy dog, a handsome horse and a dainty dog, a cat that meowed and a cat that purred, and a fine prize cow and a ladybird. And the cow said moo, and the hen said cluck. Hiss, said the goose, and quack, said the duck. Neigh, said the horse. Oink, said the hog. Baa, said the sheep, and woof, said the dog. One cat meowed, while one purred, and the ladybird never said a word. But the ladybird saw, and the ladybird heard.
Cheer up, said George, and he took off his stripy tie. It didn't match my socks anyway, he said. As it went round and round the giraffe's neck, it made a wonderful scarf. Thank you, said the giraffe. As George strode towards home, he sang to himself, my tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look at me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town.
Hi, I'm the horse. I'm going to read you a little bit from my book. I got you a delicious cake, said the mole. Did you? Yes. Where is it? I ate it, said the mole. Oh, but I got you another. Did you? Where's that one? The same thing seems to have happened.
Sugarlump was a rocking horse. He belonged to a girl and boy. To and fro, they rode on their favourite toy. Here, in the children's bedroom, is where I want to be. Happily rocking to and fro. This is the life for me.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have £1 million, or £1 billion, or £1 trillion? How about a gazillion? Meet Joe Spud. Joe didn't have to imagine what it would be like to have loads and loads of money. He was only 12, but he was ridiculously, preposterously rich. Joe had everything he could possibly want. In short, he was one spoilt kid. He went to ridiculously posh school. He flew on private planes whenever he went on holiday. Once, he even had Disneyland closed for the day, just so he wouldn't have to queue for any rides.
All the time. I had sausages and sausages and sausages and sausages and sausages and sausages on my breakfast plate, and 1.5 ice creams, and my entire emergency secret biscuit supply.
It was night time in the supermarket and all was quiet. But, crash bang! Something had escaped from the freezer. Something small, round and green. Something looking for big trouble. Help, help! Cried Carrot. I'm stuck on the conveyor belt. Ah! Cried Broccoli. Someone's drawn on my face.
So Little Red Riding Hood set off through the deep, dark forest. She looked all around. There wasn't a sound. Then who should she meet but the big, bad wolf. Good day, my dear, growled the wolf with a big, bad smile. What are you doing here? I'm going to grandmother's to take her a cake, replied Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf had a plan. Wouldn't your grandmother like some of these flowers? He smiled. What a good idea, said Little Red Riding Hood, and she stopped to pick up a bunch.
With seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird and a shower for the frog. Yes, cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone.
Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The birds shrieked with glee and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The wind clutched her bow, but let go of her wand.
baby fox, but no, I'm having lunch with a gruffalo. A gruffalo? What's a gruffalo? Why, a gruffalo, don't you know? He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth and terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here, by these rocks. And his favourite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox? said Fox. Goodbye, little mouse. And away he sped. Silly old fox. Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a gruffalo.
I've lost my mum. Hush, little monkey, don't you cry. I'll help you find her, said Butterfly. Let's have a think, how big is she? She's big, said Monkey, bigger than me, bigger than you. Then I've seen your mum. Come, little monkey, come, come, come. No, 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 that's an elephant. My mum isn't a great grey hunk. She hasn't got tusks or a curly trunk. She doesn't have great big thick baggy knees. And anyway, her tail coils around trees. She coils around trees, then she's very near. Quick, little monkey, she's over here.
The Browns were waiting to meet their daughter Judy when Mr. Brown noticed something small and furry near the left luggage office. It looks like a bear, he said. A bear? Replied Mrs. Brown. On Paddington Station? Don't be silly, Henry, there can't be. But Mr. Brown was right. It was sitting on an old leather suitcase marked Wanted on Voyage, and as they drew near, it stood up and politely raised its hat. Good afternoon, it said.
In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door like a porthole painted green, with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened onto a tube-shaped hall like a tunnel. A very comfortable tunnel, without smoke, with panelled walls and floors tiled and carpeted, provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. The hobbit was fond of visitors.
Hello, I'm Silly Sausage. Oi, Duck-bill Platypus, sit on a... What rhymes with Duck-bill Platypus? Whispered the frog. Absolutely nothing, smiled the cat. What about Cluck-filled Hattybus? Or Yuck-filled Splattymouse? Or Truck-filled Flappy Goose? Said the dog.
One day in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and found a stack of letters with his name on them. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of your other crayons. All year long I wear myself out, colouring fire engines, apples, strawberries and everything else that's red. I even have to work on holidays. I have to colour all the Santas at Christmas and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need a rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon.
It was night time in the supermarket and the veggies were enjoying their weekly bath. Look, Sweet Potato, a bubble hat, said Cucumber. I've got a bubbly beard, said Aubergine. I've made a bubble cave, said Carrot. Look what I've made, said Tomato. It's a bubbleosaurus. Wow, said Cucumber. We need more bubbles. Quick, someone pass the bubble mixture. Allow me, sniggered the evil pea, swapping the bubbles for troubly bubbles. There were already a lot of bubbles, but soon the bubbles doubled.
This is a story called The Bear Who Stared. There was once a bear who liked to stare and stare and stare. Every morning he emerged from his cave and stared at the first thing he saw. One morning he stared at a family of ladybirds who were having their breakfast on a small leaf. "What are you staring at?" squeaked the daddy ladybird. "We're trying to have our breakfast in peace." And with that they scuttled off to find somewhere else to eat.
By 12 o'clock next day, Harry's trunk was packed with his school things and all his most prized possessions. The invisibility cloak he had inherited from his father, the broomstick he had got from Sirius, the enchanted map of Hogwarts he had been given by Fred and George Weasley last year. He had emptied his hiding place under the loose floorboard of all food, double-checked every nook and cranny of his bedroom for forgotten spell-books or quills, and taken down the chart on the wall, counting the days down to September the 1st, on which he liked to cross off the days remaining until his return to Hogwarts. The atmosphere inside number 4 Privet Drive was extremely tense. The imminent arrival at their house of an assortment of wizards was making the Dursleys uptight and irritable. Uncle Vernon had looked downright alarmed when Harry informed him that the Weasleys would be arriving at 5 o'clock the very next day.
The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel.
Ben unscrewed the lid. He couldn't believe what was inside. Diamonds, rings, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, all with great big sparkling diamonds. Ben was no expert, but he thought there must be thousands of pounds worth of jewellery in the biscuit tin, even millions.
Stickman lives in the family tree with his stick lady love and their 6 children 3. One day he wakes early and goes for a jog. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the dog.
Once upon a time, there was a deep, dark forest where monstrous trees groaned, terrible beasties moaned, and wiggly woos waited to tickle your toes. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. "Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house."
Going to the shopping village, George's mother said to George on a Saturday morning. "So, be a good boy and don't get up to mischief." This was a silly thing to say to a small boy at any time. It immediately made him wonder what sort of mischief he might get up to.
The witch had a cat and a very tall hat, a long ginger hair which she wore in a plait. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomsticks and flew through the wind.